Grace. I could barely get up when I heard someone knocking on the door. How long was I asleep? I didn't bother fixing my hair and just got up and walked towards the door. Hey, did I wake you up? Asked Victor. I nodded. Yes, but I'm glad you did. I overslept. The bed is too comfy, and the weather's too inviting. Have you been waiting long? I came to get you 30 minutes ago, but when you didn't answer, I figured you fell asleep. The plane ride tired you out, huh? I nodded. You will get used to it. There are times you need to come to the meetings with me, but not to worry. It's just short trips usually. It's within the country. Okay. Are you hungry, or do you want to take the tour first? Victor looked excited. Not hungry yet. Let me fix myself quickly, and we'll go. All right, I will wait for you downstairs. I nodded at him before he left. I shut the door, then went to the bathroom. I washed my face, combed my hair, and went to get my lipstick from the purse. I don't want to look pale and sickly. One last look in the mirror, and I left the bedroom to go downstairs. I saw Vic talking to someone. It was a woman, and she quickly left when she saw me coming. Oh good, you're here. Let's start from the main floor, and then we go up. How many rooms are here in total? There's a total of 30 bedrooms, 15 on the second, and another 15 on the third floor. Some bedroom has been converted into offices. I will show you later. The main floor is where the kitchen, formal dining, gym, living room, common bathrooms, library, clinic, and anything else the members of the pack may need. The main floor is open to the rest of the pack. Yes, but they are off limits to the second and third floor, unless I call them in. Victor showed me the rest of the house, and although we were walking slow, the house was too big that it finally made me hungry. I heard my stomach, and so did Vic. I take it, you're ready to have a meal now. Yes, the babe is hungry too. I smiled at him. We just finished touring anyway, so it is perfect timing. We took the elevator down to the main level and went to the kitchen. Are we eating with the others? I asked. I saw a few people passing by, and some were hanging out near the fireplace. I guess they were told I was coming today, so they weren't as surprised. They already ate. So it's just going to be us. He pulled a bar stool, and once I was seated, Victor motioned someone to serve the food. Do you like chili? Yes, but I do not eat beans. Ever since I was a child, I don't eat them simply because it doesn't taste good. It's like eating dirt, not that I know the feeling because I've never eaten dirt. It's just the texture that made it alike. Vic laughed. Chili is not chili without beans. You can have it all then. I burst out laughing. He will be farting all day for sure. Vic is still part human, even if he turns into a big dog wolf, I mean. Vic shook his head and laughed with me. When the food was served, we ate happily. Do you want to visit the pack doctor today? Today? I should, but I'm nervous and sad. It should be all right with me when I visit the doctor for the baby's checkup. At least in the world I grew up in, that's how it's done most of the time. On second thought, I should be thankful that Victor is kind enough to go with me. I called her earlier to book an appointment for you, but she's going to a seminar. Ida won't be back until the following day unless there's an emergency. Okay, I will see her today. What time are we going? Not until late this afternoon, so you have time to prepare. You can write your questions too if you want, so you can ask her. There are baby books in the library, too, if you want to start reading. He scratched his head. There are two kinds, the normal pregnancy book and our kind pregnancy book. It's fine, I want to read both. I want to learn about their kind so that I know what to expect with my baby too. After we finished eating, I was going to help clean up, But Vic stopped me and said some members do that for the house. Omegas, he said. So far, I've heard Alpha, Beta, Gamma, and now, Omega. Are there more? In my head, they are like president, vice president, secretary, and whatever else. At the library, I found the 2 pregnancy books he was telling me about. Then I thought about the pack. I should read about them, if there's such a book to understand their kind better. Is there a book about your kind in here? I've read some fantasy novels before, but I take it they are all myth. I asked him. Well, some of the descriptions are off and do not justify what we do. I've read about 3 books, and then I stopped reading. It got ridiculous, and frankly, I was stunned at how savage our kind was. Saying those fiction books are disappointing is an understatement. Vic crinkled his nose. Well, I want to understand your kind more now. Can you recommend a book? Let me see if someone has not borrowed it. He asked the librarian, Kara, if the book The Wolf in Me was available. Yes, Alpha. It was returned today, she said. Good, I need to borrow it for a couple of weeks. Grace will return it then, and if she needs more time she will let you know. Grace. While waiting for the doctor's appointment, I made myself busy by reading the books I borrowed from the library. Vic was right, the pregnancy only lasted 3 months for their kind, compared to humans who carry the baby for 9. The rest of the information looks pretty much the same as a normal pregnancy would. In a couple of months, I will be able to hold my baby in my arms. Some days, I feel like Mom and I are cursed. She raised me by herself, because my father was never around. Now, I am doing the same for my child. I looked at the time, and I still have enough to read a few chapters of the other book. The Wolf in Me. The title itself is interesting. It's not the usual book bought in the stores. This one is handwritten and looks very old. A Black wrote it. Wow. Same last name as Ulrich. I felt a connection to the book, but I can't figure out why. I opened it and read that there are only 2 copies of this book. One is at High Crown in Montreal. Just how many packs are there in Canada? I will ask Vic later. There's the Alpha and what it's supposed to do. The strength and size are greater than the rest of the pack. Interesting. Then there's the Beta, who is the second in command. When the Alpha finds a mate, the woman is called Luna. The Luna is supposed to help run the pack and is given as much respect as the Alpha. I think Alpha and Luna are like king and queen in the normal world. I was so engrossed in reading that I didn't notice it was time until I heard a knock on the door. I heard Vic's voice. I closed the book and got up. The clinic was not the one inside the main house, but the 2-story building down the road. It's not even that far, but Vic asked his driver to drive us there. It's not even a 3-minute drive. It's not far, I know, but with the snow, I don't want to risk you and the baby one slip, and it would cost a great deal of suffering. He explained. No wonder he's an Alpha. He thought about the possible consequences already before it took place. Thank you for always putting my safety first. I really appreciate it. He gave me a small smile, and when the car stopped, Vic got out and opened the door on my side. We entered the clinic, and I noticed it looked small from the outside, but it's actually very spacious inside. When a middle-aged woman came out to greet us, I figured she must be Dr. Ida Hayes. Good afternoon, Alpha, Miss Aspen. Victor acknowledged her. He must be an excellent Alpha to gain this much respect from his pack. Like any group, some members don't always follow what the leader says, but not at Bronze Ridge. So far, the members I saw today were respectful, and by this afternoon, they seemed to know my arrival and what I do moving forward. When I asked Victor about it, He said something about mind link, where he can talk to them in his mind at once. It must be cool being an alpha. Yes, it is cool to be an alpha. There is that stupid voice again. And here I am no different, I find myself answering. I heard all your thoughts, you know. I heard her chuckle. I chose not to reply and wait until I got back to my room. The last thing I want is for Victor and Dr. Hayes to think I have lost my mind. Good afternoon, Dr. Hayes, I said to her. She smiled at me and looked at my belly. How far along are you? I blushed. Honestly, I would say 4 weeks or so, but when Victor explained to me a little about how it works with this kind of pregnancy, I'm lost. I read a book today, and besides the time and smell, it seems to me like it's the same as I normally would carry a baby. Dr. Hayes smiled with her eyes. Don't worry, I understand. This is all new to you, and I am here to help with any questions you have about the baby or the pregnancy in general. She paused there and looked at Victor. Are you going inside with us, Alpha? I looked at Victor. I think I will be okay if I go alone. Would you mind waiting here in the lobby? I asked him. He didn't take offense and said, no worries. I will wait here. Thank you. Dr. Hayes showed me the way to her office, and while I was walking, I thought about how Ulrich would feel if he learned about the baby. I'm scared that he might not accept it. I have been doing a lot of thinking since I read the book earlier. If a Luna is supposed to help the Alpha take care of the pack, that's probably the reason why Ulrich will never choose me. He will always pick a she-wolf over a human like me. And it doesn't matter if I am pregnant with his child. I don't stand a chance, simply because I am not like them. When we finally reached her office, she asked me to have a seat. I have a few questions for you. Rest assured that anything you tell me is confidential. Thank you. I appreciate that. Dr. Hayes asked the usual questions a doctor would, like my full name and what I want to be called, age, birthday, next of kin, and any medical history I am aware of. Then there's the question about my last period and when I had sex to determine how far along I am with the baby. I answered all her questions to the best of my knowledge, and before she closed my file, the most dreadful question came: who is the father of my child? Grace, if you are uncomfortable telling me the answer to this question, I totally understand, she said. I swallowed twice. Ulrich Black. Grace. Did you say Ulrich Black? The doctor's eyes widened. I nodded. Do you know him? He is the Alpha to the High Crown, if we are talking about the same person. I don't know any other Alpha with that name. How did you two meet? We met in New York. You know what happened next? She smiled a little and understood what I tried to say. I see. Don't worry, your secret is safe with me, I take it. Alpha Victor doesn't know who the father of your child is. I shook my head. I didn't tell him we are good friends, and he saved me from a vampire attack, but there are things I like to keep for myself. I understand. I will make sure your file is password protected, so that the rest of my team won't be able to access it. Have you considered telling him? Who? Ulrich. Yes, Alpha Ulrich. I did. Sometimes I still think he should know, but he never came back for me. So I don't think Ulrich cares. You said he is the Alpha to the High Crown. What exactly is that? High Crown is the biggest pack there is in Canada. There are 13 packs in total, and High Crown is located in Quebec. There is one pack for every province or territory. We are in Ontario, as you know. Then there's Moon Valley Pack. It is the one in New Brunswick. They just joined High Crown. They lost their Alpha, so they had no one to lead them. How big are they now, and why didn't they join Bronze Ridge instead? I asked. Their world is really different. Alpha Randolph of Moon Valley is Aurora Reed's older brother. He never married and didn't have a child of his own. Who is Aurora Reed? She is Alpha Ulrich's mother. Aurora used to be the beta to Moon Valley. When she married Alpha Alistair, she became the Luna of the pack. Alpha Ulrich is already an Alpha to High Crown. It's either Moon Valley joins them, because they are technically family, or they risk chaos for their pack. Aurora and Alistair are Ulrich's parents. Well, at least I get to tell my baby who the grandparents are. It seems like they are all high-ranking wolves in the pack. What does that make my baby then? It doesn't mean he will be a wolf. Too, there is a chance he could be human just like me. I see. I was getting overwhelmed with all the information. I know you have a lot of questions. We have time. Why don't you come see me next week, and we can talk some more? Okay, that would be great. Good, now we can go and see your baby. She took me to the next room, where there's a little bed with parchment-like paper on top. I need you to change into this gown. Make sure the opening is at the front. Open the door when you are done, and I will come in," said Dr. Hayes. I did as I was told, and a few minutes later she came back in. "Lie down on the bed, and let's see the baby. Are you excited?" "Yes, and also nervous." I smiled. "No offense, but is there a chance I am going to see a wolf inside my belly? I've read the book, but I never know life is full of surprises." Dr. Hayes smiled. "Silly girl, no, your baby is the same as the others. The baby just grows faster inside you compared to the usual 9 months. But other than that, it's all basically the same. We don't turn until we are 18. Some don't even turn at all." "That's a relief. Does that mean there's a chance my baby is human like me?" I asked her. "It's hard to say." She opened the lid of the bottle. "This gel is cold, and I am putting it on your stomach for the ultrasound." She closed the lid and put the bottle back on the side table. "Alpha Ulrich is a strong alpha, so there is a big possibility that your baby is going to be like him. But that's just my thoughts. We have to wait until the baby turns 18. She took the probe and rolled it on the gel in my tummy. I heard squishy sounds. "Can someone turn early?" I heard a few that turned as early as 16, some turned late to 20 or so. "That's interesting. I'm going to read some more when I get home. You see that in the middle?" I nodded. "That's your baby. We are going to monitor you every 2 weeks to make sure you are both okay." Dr. Hayes smiled at me. I stared at the screen, and I couldn't believe Ulrich and I did that in one night. I felt a tear fall from my eyes. I feel happy seeing my baby, but I will be happier if Ulrich is here with me. Dr. Hayes grabbed a tissue box and gave it to me. I took a couple and wiped my tears. "I will print this so we can monitor the baby's growth. I will also give you a copy." "Thank you, Dr. Hayes. Just call me Ida. I don't have a lot of friends, but I think we are getting along just fine." She patted my hand. "I would like that, Ida." "Thank you. Now remember, don't tire yourself out. Make sure you get plenty of rest. Eat a balanced diet, take your vitamins, and don't stay up late. No lifting, Grace. Just ask anyone for help, and they will be glad to assist you." Dr. Hayes wiped the gel from my stomach and cleaned up as much as she could before she left the room to give me some privacy. When I finally had my clothes put back on, I sat on one of the visitors' chairs and waited for her to finish writing the script. "I ordered some blood work for you. Make sure you do that before you go back to the main house. The lab is just next door. I will see you next week. Grace." I felt lighter leaving the clinic. My baby is fine, and I had nothing to worry about. It's nice to tell someone who my baby's father is. And not just any person, but a doctor bound by confidentiality. I have been bottling it up for so long that sometimes it keeps me awake at night. I don't think Ida would talk to others about my secret anyway, even to her alpha. For some reason, I feel that I can trust her. Victor stood up when he saw me. How was it? Good, the baby is healthy. Dr. Hayes will see me again next week, and oh, she also gave me vitamins. That's great. Victor looked happy. I smiled at him. Yes, it is. By the way, I need to stop by the lab next door for blood work. Do you know where it is? I asked him. Yes, I will take you there. When we got out of the clinic, a man was salting the sidewalk and greeted us. Alpha, good afternoon. To you as well, madam, he said. The man is about the same as my age, if I am not mistaken. Good afternoon. I greeted him back, while Victor just nodded at him. We continued walking and found the lab 2 doors down. When we got in, the staff welcomed us, and I didn't wait long as there was only one patient before me. Please confirm your name and date of birth, said the nurse named Laura on her tag. My name is Grace Amari Aspen, and I was born on March 31st, 1998. Thank you, Dr. Hayes ordered CBC for you. It will measure a variety of factors in your blood, like the red and white blood cells. I understand, thank you. Victor and I went back to the main house after going to the lab. It's still early for dinner, so we decided to go to a private den. I like how the windows are huge, and I can see the pond from where I'm sitting. Do you want something to drink? Snack? Asked Victor. I shook my head. No, thank you. It seems like all I've been doing since I came here is eating. I laughed because it was true. Just making sure you're well fed. He smiled at me, then walked towards the fireplace and added some wood. Victor took the seat across from me and sat down. Can I ask you a few questions? Sure, what is it? I want to know more about the pack, and how you make a living. I know you have a company, but what about the others? Canada has 10 provinces and 3 territories. We are in Ontario province, and the 3 territories are Nunavut, Yukon, and Northwest Territories. There is a pack for every province or territory, so there are 13 in total. Unfortunately, the Silver Crest pack in British Columbia was slaughtered more than 20 years ago, and the Moon Valley pack in New Brunswick lost their alpha, so they joined High Crown in Montreal, Quebec. There are only 11 packs now in the country. As for jobs, we're pretty much like the ordinary people you see every day. We go to the office from 9 to 5, sometimes longer hours depending on the job. We do stocks and other investments as well. High Crown is the closest to us, is that correct? Yes, the High Crown pack works a little differently than us. Alpha Ulrich is very private, and an invitation is needed to set foot in their territory. Alistair, his father and the previous Alpha, runs a tight ship. Ulrich. Hearing his name makes me miss him more these days. Have you been there? I asked Victor. A couple of times during celebrations. Why? You seemed curious about High Crown. That's because the father of my child is the High Crown's Alpha. I wanted to say to him, but I couldn't. Just curious. High Crown seems like royalty, and I've heard good things about Montreal. One of my classmates is from Montreal, and she said that it looks lovely there in the fall. I agree. Montreal is beautiful in the fall, but so is Ontario and the rest of Canada. Maybe after you've given birth, and we're not very busy with the company, we can go for a drive. There's so much to see here, and I think you will. Suddenly, the door swung open, and a blonde girl, who looked similar to Victor, appeared. This woman must be Vivian, his sister. There you are. I've been looking all over for you. Hi, sweetheart. How are you? Victor got up and gave her a tight hug. I'm fine. I had fun shopping. And who's she? I don't think I've seen her before. She was staring at me, so I got up and introduced myself. Good afternoon, I'm Grace. I'm his new assistant. You're a human and you're pregnant. She looked confused. Is that my bro? Victor cut her off immediately while I turned red. Grace, this is my sister Vivian. Vivian, this is Grace, my new assistant. And no, I am not the father of her child. Vivian looked relieved. Phew. I thought my brother got himself a human for a mate anyway. Which cottage are you staying at? She's staying here in the main house, said Victor. Vivian didn't look too happy to hear that, and she didn't hide it. I don't think she likes me very much. What? Why? She's not. Victor cut her off again. Excuse us, Grace. Would you mind going up to your bedroom while I talk to my sister? He asked. No worries, I replied to him. Thank you. I walked towards the door, and when I turned the knob, I made the mistake of glancing at her. It looked like I made a friend and an enemy in one day. Ida and Vivian, respectively. Before deciding to move here, I was concerned that the pack might not take my presence lightly, but I did not expect Victor's family member to be like this. Vivian may look like her brother, but they are opposites when it comes to being kind. I wonder if their parents are still alive, and if they live close. Victor never mentioned them. If they are in any way like Vivian, I don't think I will be able to stay here for long. But I have nowhere else to go either, so what's a girl got to do? Suck it up, Victor. As soon as Grace left and closed the door, I confronted my sister. Vivian is 23 years of age, but has never worked a day in her life. She is smart with a degree in business, but has never shown interest in the company. I love her to death, but I swear to the moon goddess our parents spoiled her too much. Now that Mom and Dad are gone, I was left to discipline her. What was that about? I asked her. She pretended to be cute with me. What? I didn't do any, Vivian Lark. Don't try that with me. What you did earlier was very rude to our guest. She smirked. She is just an assistant and a human at that. It's no big deal. I furrowed my brows. No big deal. Yes. No big deal. It's not like I shouted at her face. It's no big deal. How can you say that? You don't have to shout at someone to be rude. You can tell the nicest things. But if you put sarcasm, it beats the purpose. My patience is wearing thin, and I don't even know where this hostility is coming from. I am not apologizing, Vic. She's human. Didn't you get my message? I mind-linked everyone of her arrival. She smirked. I thought you were joking. I had to count 1 to 5 just to calm myself. Right now, I feel as if I was talking to a 5-year-old than Vivian's actual age. She has to find her mate. That will make her grow up faster. Why would I joke about something like that? She toyed with her hair using her forefinger. I sighed in frustration. If you don't like her, get over it. Grace will live in the main house because it's closer to the office. She's pregnant, and she needs help. If you don't want to see her, just avoid her. You don't have to be friends with her. Don't cause any unnecessary drama. I don't want a repeat performance of today. You don't want to see me upset. I used a different tone with her, and hopefully she gets the message. My sister looked at me for a bit. It was so weird I couldn't stand it until I heard her ask me a question. Do you like her? She is my friend. It's true. Vivian shook her head. No, not that friend-like manner. I meant like the romantic type. Don't be ridiculous. Grace is pregnant with another man's baby. Why would you come up with something like that? Nothing. You just seem to know someone who cares for her deeply. I've never seen you like that with anyone else. I know you dated a few women until 5 years ago, but even with Samantha, You're not like this. Samantha is the daughter of an alpha from the Wicked Valley Pack in Manitoba. I was dating her for about 6 months, even though she is not my fated mate. While we were waiting for our mate to come along, both of us thought we would enjoy each other's company. You're just overthinking things. Viv, let it go. Just remember what I've said. I am not tolerating rudeness. You have to set an example in this pack. Fine. Vivian agreed, even though she was not truly happy about it. She will get over it eventually. I will see you at dinner, I said to her before she left the room. Grace. As soon as I closed my bedroom door, I shook my head, then pinched my nose. I sat on the bed feeling frustrated. I am aware that I cannot please everyone, but also, we are not in our teens anymore. Vivian's rudeness earlier was uncalled for. Although I understand that she doesn't trust me, I expected that she would act accordingly. She is Victor's sister, and that means she's a high-ranking member of the pack. I know Victor will talk to her, and I worry that she will be more upset with me. Hopefully, his brother won't be too hard on her. I don't want to go back downstairs until dinner time, so I thought I would just continue reading. The wolf in me is pretty exciting and nothing like the books being sold in stores. I feel as if I was in a different world, which technically is true. The members of the pack are considered magical creatures. Yes, I am magical. There is that voice again. Seriously. Go away. Don't you want to know my name? Nope. I didn't hear anything back. At least she can take a hint. I glanced at the side and saw the book I had left on the bed. I took it with me to the chaise near the bay window. It's a bit cooler in here, but a nice blanket would keep me warm. I took my shoes off and placed the blankets over my leg, making sure they covered my feet. Once I felt comfortable, I started reading the book. Canada has 13 provinces and 3 territories. There's one pack for each. The 3 territories, Nunavut, Yukon, and Northwest, have Winter Crest, Gold Ridge, and Timber Ridge respectively. As for the provinces, Silent Mane Pack is in Saskatchewan, Crimson Ridge Pack in Prince Edward Island, Arctic Crest Pack in Newfoundland and Labrador, Lupin Mane Pack in Nova Scotia, Black Claw Pack in Alberta, and Wicked Valley in Manitoba. Silver Crest in British Columbia does not exist anymore, after being slaughtered many years ago, as per Victor, and Moon Valley from New Brunswick just joined High Crown. There are only 11 packs left now, and High Crown in Montreal is the most extensive pack in the country. You are learning a lot. Jeez. There's that voice again. You are going to need it soon. Why? I know I am pregnant, but there's also a chance that my baby will be a human, like me. Just keep reading and learn about the way of life. If you could train with them after you give birth, that would be fantastic. Train? Like combat and whatever? Yes. Just learn as much as you can. It's time to try new things. You will be home soon. Home? Where is home? I don't have a home. Am I close to being one of those stray cats? Or what's it called again for wolves? A rogue. I asked her again, but she didn't answer me back. Valentine. Sanguine Ligerio. I have been searching for Grace in New York, but I can't sense her presence. It's frustrating as hell. I am tired of not being able to go out in the sunlight, and now that I've found her, the wait is almost over. One of the elders, Dimitri, told me before he died that the only way I could entirely rule the world was when I found the woman who could make me feel alive with just one look at her. I will feel the connection with her, and it will be so strong that I would never want to let her go. I've never felt something like that, and I've fucked countless women before to think I've been living for 1,000 years. All I had to do is turn her during a frosty half-blood moon eclipse and make her my wife. The eclipse is happening in November, and although it's still a few months away, I want to make sure everything is perfect. I only have 3 hours and 28 minutes to turn Grace and hope that she makes it. If I miss this chance, I have to wait for the next one, and I am done waiting. It would have been simple if that animal didn't show up. There were too many of them, and I was outnumbered. I was getting bored, so I thought I would roam around New York. It's been too long since I visited the city, but I didn't expect to find my Amore there. Maybe I should go back to the coffee shop and ask around, or am I going to waste more time doing that? Fuck. I hate not being in control. Vincent. Vincent. I called for my right hand. My lord, said Vincent. He appeared in front of me in a flash. He took a knee and bowed his head. I need you to find out everything you can about that woman. Grace is her name, and she worked at that coffee shop in New York City. Is there a last name of mine? I cut him off immediately. If I knew, I wouldn't be asking you. I just saw her name tag, and it didn't have Grace's surname, obviously. My apologies, my lord. I will work on it. Permission to leave? Asked Vincent. You may leave and don't return until you have what I need. I don't care what he has to do to get it as long as I find out where Grace is. Grace. It's been a week since I moved here, and my orientation at work has been completed. Cindy, the HR manager, explained to me what my daily responsibilities are. She also talked about my time off overtime, and what happens during maternity leave. She said that even when I am off after giving birth, my vacation time is accumulating, which I think is pretty good. My work starts at 9 in the morning and ends at 5 in the afternoon. Today, I started sorting out everything in the file room. I can't believe Victor's employees just stack it in this room whenever their filing cabinet is full. Some of the papers are on the floor had coffee stains, and others were either ripped or folded. It's a lot of work, but we have to keep the files for 7 years before getting rid of them completely. I heard a knock on the door, and that's when I saw Victor. Hey, it's lunchtime, let's go, said Victor. What time is it? Past 12. Sorry about the mess, he said apologetically. Do you see now why I need your help? Don't apologize, it's my job, so no worries. I didn't notice the time until you knocked. Thanks for getting me. Of course. I left the pile on the top of the table and went out with him. While walking down the stairs, I asked him, I haven't seen your sister in a while. Vivian is away. She likes to travel and has no interest in working, he said to me. Wow. I didn't dare comment and just smiled a little at him. Vivian is so lucky to be born surrounded by wealth. The rest of us can only hope we have enough money to sustain our needs until we leave this world. Victor then changed the topic and asked about my plans with the baby. By the way, you only have a few weeks left before the baby comes. You need someone to help you once you've given birth, the same with once you're back at work. Yes, I was going to ask how much the rate is for nannies here. We are almost in the dining area, and a few people are already eating. Do you know if anyone is looking for a job? We picked an unoccupied table near the corner, and he pulled a chair for me. Thanks, I said to him as I sat down. You're welcome. He sat on the chair across from me. Shortly after, lunch started coming. I will mind link the Omegas and tell them to email their resume to you today. You can go through them, and we will schedule an interview whenever you're ready. Sounds great. I just need 4 hours while I am on leave and the full 8 hours once I get back to work. Cindy said the maternity leave here lasts up to 18 months now, and the pay is 55%. Correct. It used to be 12 months, but it's tough for a mother to leave the child with a nanny also. The daycare centers here do not accept kids until they are 1.5 years old, so it is really a challenge. I see. I'm glad I moved here. Then I was reading something online back in New York, and the maternity leave there allows 12 weeks of unpaid leave after childbirth. Some are eligible for up to 8 weeks of paid leave, but I don't know if it applies to me. We started eating lunch. There's a Greek salad, gyro and chicken souvlaki, roasted potatoes, and Mediterranean yellow rice. Instead of dipping the chicken in tzatziki, I used ketchup. Victor let out a chuckle when he saw me do that but did not comment. Yes, Canada is a great country and the opportunities are endless. By the way, there is a party in High Crown 2 weeks from now, and I have a +1. Are you up for it, Grace? I don't think it's a good idea for me to go there even if Victor has a +1. Bronze Ridge may have accepted me, but it doesn't mean High Crown would do the same. Let's not forget that I am still human, even if I am carrying a potential pup. Vic, I don't mean any disrespect, but I think the +1 means you are bringing a she-wolf. I continued eating my food. Nonsense. I get to bring whoever I want. I'm an alpha. I gave him an amused look. Yeah, you are an alpha. I was actually teasing him, because this was the first time I heard him speak like that. He blushed. I didn't mean it that way. Yes, you did. I laughed a little. Thank you for inviting me, but I don't think it's a good idea right now. Plus, have you seen my tummy lately? My baby's growing fast. Victor didn't push it further, thank heavens. I don't think I'm ready to hear what Ulrich has to say when he sees me pregnant, if he ever says anything at all. Ulrich probably doesn't remember me now. After all, I'm just a random woman he slept with, and I can't take his rejection. I just can't. I think it's going to be a boy, said Victor. You think so? He nodded. I am thinking of names the other night. And what names did you come up with? I really like the name, Cain. It means warrior. Cain, it has a ring to it. I like it too. And what if it's a girl? Asked Victor. I haven't gone that far yet. I scratched my head. Once lunch was over, he walked me back to the file room. I think I need a couple more days to sort it all out, and that's the fastest I can finish it. There are just way too many documents, and they dated back almost 7 years ago. Before Victor left, I asked him a question. Vic, I was just wondering about training. Victor furrowed his brows. Training? Like combat? I nodded. What about it? I was wondering if I can watch what they do. I know I'm not as fast or strong as the rest of you, but at least I'd know how to protect myself. Maybe after I give birth and Dr. Hayes says it's okay, I can join the training. Would you let me? He looked at me dumbfounded for a second and then nodded. Sure, I will train you personally, and if I am not here, Hans will. Thank you. I appreciate it. No problem. Anything else? One more thing. What's that? When you go to Montreal, are you taking the car or the plane? I asked. I kind of want to see High Crown from a distance, but I don't want to go in. It depends. If you want to go with us, I will take the plane. If not, a car would just suffice. It's about a 6 to 7 hour drive from here, but with the plane, it's close to an hour. I see. Okay. Have you changed your mind? I smiled then shook my head. I don't want to go to the party, but I want to see Montreal. Oh, got it. How about I take you with me to Montreal to sightsee, and assign Lowell for your safety? You can also bring an Omega of your own choosing so you will have company. The interview is still happening in a day or two, right? I nodded. Yes. That will be great. But Lowell might want to go to the party with you, and I. He shook his head. Lowell is not fond of parties, and he will think of every excuse to avoid it, so don't worry about it anyway. I'll go ahead. Remember to take a break. And can you set the alarm for when you're done work? I don't want you overworking yourself. It's bad for the baby. Queen Emlyn Strain. Shadow Moon Coven, Windsor, Ontario. I have been pacing back and forth in my office since my daughter called and told me that she's coming home. Erica is my youngest, and she's been a bit of a troublemaker since she was younger. The last time she was home was 5 years ago. She likes to try out new things, and in the process, she almost burned down the whole house. It was one after another, and I was close to losing my damn mind. I heard a knock on the door and saw my oldest daughter, Amelia. I motioned her to come in. Logged. Erica just arrived. I thought she's not supposed to come home until Christmas. I looked outside the window and saw her silver car. I knew it was her. Erica is the only one who likes to drive a car, even when she can just snap her fingers and go wherever she wants. I don't know, something must have come up. I'm more worried about Grace. I understand why you promised Auntie Dawn that you will watch over her daughter, but we can't do it forever, right? I promised her that as long as I am alive her daughter will be safe. She saved my life. She saved your life, I know. I didn't forget. Emily smiled. I understand it perfectly. Let's hear what Erica has to say before we get all worried about Grace. She sat on one of the visitor chairs and checked her phone. If Erica is outspoken and lively, Emily is quiet and reserved. She takes her responsibility seriously to the point that she doesn't know how to have fun. Everything has to be perfect for her, and there is no room for mistakes. Hi, Mom. It didn't take long for Erica to find me. Missed me? She was smiling from ear to ear while walking towards me. I gave her a warm hug. I missed my daughter every day that she was away, but it was for her own good. Of course I missed you. Everyone missed you. I said to my daughter. She's still wearing her long blonde hair, which right now is tied on a simple ponytail. Hi, Em. How are you? Hello, sis. How was your drive? Emily asked her sister. Fine, Highway 401 wasn't too bad, but the border at Niagara Falls sucks. The lineup was too long. Are you hungry? Did you have something to eat? It was quite a drive. I told her. I'm fine, Mom. I don't feel hungry right now. I know you're itching to know what happened to Grace, though, right? Erica sat on the sofa while I took my seat behind the table. Tell me then. Grace is pregnant. Erica dropped the news like it was normal. I'm afraid to hear what she's going to say next. She moved here for work. She's in Canada. Blood drained from my face. Please don't tell me she's in Montreal. Where exactly is work? Bronze Corp. Just up north Toronto. She's staying with Victor Fraser. Oh dear, Grace. Ida and I are out for a walk today in the village. It was quite sunny and the snow had melted, making the road muddy. One thing I love about spring is seeing the magnolia tree and cherry blossoms. The trees don't look as dead anymore, and new leaves are sprouting. Do you want to get some tea first, or go to a bookstore? Asked Ida. Tea is fine. I still have some books at home that I borrowed from the library. Okay, there's a couple of places. I can recommend Natural Teapot and Trembling Cup. I burst out laughing. Who names a coffee shop like that? Ida smiled. I have no idea, but they have good selections of tea. You will like it. By the way, if you miss coffee, you can have some as long as it's decaf. Okay, I will keep that in mind. When we got inside the Trembling Cup, we took the corner seat near the window. Ida ordered for us, and it didn't take long to arrive. I was surprised to see 2 cups for myself and just 1 for her. Why 2? I asked her. There's your usual green tea and this one is raspberry. See if you like it, said Ida. Okay, I will give it a try. I sip on the cup with raspberry flavor and it's heavenly. It's excellent, I told her, then took another sip before putting it down. Good, I'm glad you liked it. We can try a new one next time. I nodded at her. How are you doing? You've been here a couple of weeks already. Yes, a couple of weeks now. I really like my job, and the people at the main house are all nice. She smiled. Yes, I agree. Our pack is pretty laid back, and although it seems like they mind their own business most of the time, they are willing to help with anything. She took a sip of her tea. Have you met Vivian? I didn't know whether to answer her or dismiss it. In the end, I answered her as short as I could and hoped that she wouldn't ask any more about Victor's sister. I've met her. I haven't seen her in a while, and Victor said she is out traveling. Yes, she does. Ever since their parents passed away, she won't stay here for long. It must be her way of coping with their unexpected death. I wanted to ask how Victor's parents died, but I can't bring myself to say it. I feel like I'm invading someone's privacy. It's okay if they tell me about it voluntarily, but I don't feel comfortable bringing it up. By the way, I heard there's a party at High Crown. Is Alpha bringing you? Victor asked me, but I said no. Is it because he is going to be there? Asked Ida. She didn't say Ulrich's name. Partly yes, but also, I am afraid that I am going to be asked to leave. Your pack may have accepted me, but I am not sure High Crown will do the same thing. I don't want to cause trouble between Bronze Ridge and High Crown. I see. I understand. Have you thought about telling him about the baby? I have the number to his office. I didn't answer her. She pulled out a card from her wallet. I will leave this to you. You can throw it out or keep it. Do whatever you like with it. She then pushed the card towards me. I took it and put it in my wallet. Thanks. I have a question to ask, said Ida. What is it? Did you hear him do the rejection? I remember you telling me that you felt drawn to him. I'm pretty sure he felt the same way. What is rejection? It's something said verbally and sounds formal, like, I, John Doe, Alpha of whatever, reject you, Jane Doe. Like that. I shook my head. No, I didn't hear anything like that. If he ever did before he left, I wouldn't hear it. I was dead to the world, and I woke up pretty late that morning. I'm back at the main house, and as soon as I reach my bedroom, I close the door. I took the card out of my wallet and stared at it for a good few minutes. It was tempting as hell to call him, and I've never been a coward until now. I sat in bed and thought about it some more. I should tell him about the baby. Or maybe I should just leave it as is. The baby and I are well. We have a roof over our heads, and I have a pretty decent job. I eat more than 3 times a day. Oh, fuck it. Victor did say I have my own telephone line, and it's private. No one can trace my calls. I picked up the phone and started dialing Ulrich's number. It was ringing, and I didn't realize that it was Saturday. I don't think anyone is at the office right now. I was about to put it down when I heard the call got rerouted. It didn't go to an answering machine. Instead, I heard a familiar voice. Ulrich Black speaking. He said. I tried to say a word, but nothing came out of my mouth. It's so good to hear Ulrich's voice though. Hello? Asked Ulrich. I heard a male voice in the background, asking who's on the other line, and Ulrich said it might be some punk doing a prank on him. Before I gathered enough courage to say anything, he had already ended the call. I caressed my baby bump and talked to my child. Baby, I just heard your daddy's voice. I wish I could tell him about you and be ready for what his reaction might be. I just don't want him not to want you too, like my father. I've never met my dad, and since he never tried to find me, I can't help but think the worst of him. There is a reason why Mom never introduced me to him, nor showed a picture. I don't even know his name, for Pete's sake. But don't worry if your father rejects us. You and I are going to be just fine. I will make sure you have everything you need, even though it's just the two of us. My mom did it. I am sure I can do it too. Just give me a little bit more time, and I will tell him about you soon. Ulrich. Hi, Crown. I was hanging out with Brett and the other guys in the living room, playing cards, when I received a weird phone call. I don't like missing any important calls on weekends, so I have them rerouted to my phone instead of going to voicemail. I still enjoy my time off even with my preferred setup, as many clients know that the office is closed on weekends. I was about to pick up a card when Dad came. Why do I have a feeling he's getting me to talk about settling down again? Growing up, I kept hearing about fated mates, second chance mates, and chosen mates. I didn't really care until the topic of Luna kept popping up for the last 2 years. Then with Moon Valley joining us, tension within the pack came about and made me run away to New York to get my sanity back. I spent some time there, but I didn't expect to meet my mate to be human destined one at that. Son, we need to talk, said Dad. I nodded at him and gave my cards to Cameron. I asked him to take my place as this talk is going to be a long one. Dad and I went to the office which used to be his. I sat down, but my father remained standing and looked out the window. Do you know what's happening with Moon Valley? Asked Dad. He was about to say something but changed his mind. They are pretty quiet, and I haven't noticed anything peculiar. Why? He cleared his throat. While we were away, I was told you went to New York. I was just trying to get a breather. I came back right away. A breather? Okay, did you meet anyone while you're away? Dad and I have always been civil, and sometimes I can't help but wonder why we're not close. Maybe it's just the way he is. He spends more time with my sister, Riella, than me, and I am his firstborn. Alistair Black mastered the art of hiding his emotions. Even though he laughs with my mother, I only see him with a twinkle in his eyes when my sister is around. Even at that, he doesn't entirely let his guard down. Mr. Clarkson, Brett's father and former beta for Dad, told me one time that my father had not always been like this. He just changed after New York. But then again, Mr. Clarkson was drunk at the time, so I don't know if what he's telling me is true. I didn't answer my father and waited for him to talk again. You need a Luna to help you with the pack. Here we go again. Did you find your mate yet? I shook my head. I haven't yet. Of course, Havoc had something to say. Liar. We found our mate. You just don't want her. Go away, Havoc. If you don't want her, why didn't you reject her when you saw her? You knew she's human anyway. Stop, Havoc. Grace is our mate, and I don't want anyone else. You haven't slept with anyone since you met her either. Look, you don't want anyone else, so just admit to your father that your fated mate is human. Hear what he has to say. If you haven't found her yet, then maybe you are not searching hard enough. The party coming up is for you. I'd say it's a desperate move, but I won't dare say it to my father, so if it's a party Dad wants, then party it is. I invited the female betas, as well as gammas from all the packs. Why are you so eager for me to find her? Because you are 27. Ulrich. It's high time you find your Luna. Ask him. Find. What if my fated mate turns out to be from different species? A witch, vampire, or human? He looked incredulous. Don't be ridiculous. The moon goddess will not pair you with a human. She will be useless in the pack. What is she going to do if war comes? Hide under the table. Instead of helping you, she will slow you down. And as for the other species, he let out an exasperated sigh. She has to be a she-wolf. I don't trust vampires, and even witches can be tricky too. I know you've heard about having fated mates, but waiting for them could be tiring. And who knows when you'll meet her. If you didn't meet anyone before the party, then open your mind to the possibility of having a chosen mate. Is that what you did? I asked him. I've seen him with my mother. They don't fight. They created my sister and me, but I don't see love or adoration in his eyes when he looks at her, and Aurora Reed is beautiful and kind. Dad walked towards me and sat on the chair across from mine. He gave me a stern look, then looked up at the ceiling like the answer to my question was there. I can tell it is a sensitive topic for him. At 52, my father still has the aristocratic and commanding aura. I just hope he answers me so that I will know where he is coming from. Your mother is not my fated mate. I wasn't hers either. He sighed. But we did what's best for both our packs. She promised me loyalty moving forward, and I gave her the same thing. You're 27 now. Have you seen us argue? I shook my head. That's because we have remained friends all these years, so even though they say there's a fated mate for everyone, it doesn't always happen at the time you need them to happen. Could it be that my father's fated mate is from different species? It's possible. Sometimes you have to take fate into your hands and create your own. At least I know where he stands now. He will never accept Grace as Luna for our pack. But I am the alpha, and what I say goes. I am going to ask Brett and my other friends for help. I still have a few days before the party anyway. Grace smells like strawberries, so we will use that to start our search. I will never let her go when I find her. Besides, I can always turn her. Why didn't I think about that before? That's when I heard a chuckle. That's because you're a stupid man. Shut up, Havoc. Grace. I didn't call him again after that. The following day, Victor went to the mall with me and shopped for a few things. I bought a new pair of boots. I need a slightly wide pair in the ankle, as my feet and lower legs sometimes get swollen. I also bought a couple of dresses, because the ones I have are getting tight in the belly area. We went to Eaton's and had lunch at the seaside shack. The snow has melted, and I can see the lake. From where we're sitting, there's a beautiful island, not too far from downtown, and Victor said it's called the Center Island. The Center Island is between the Ward's Island on the east and Hanlon's Point on the west. They are equally beautiful, but for some reason, people visit Center Island because it's more popular. Said Victor. We can visit it in the summer when the weather is nicer. We drove around downtown before we headed back to Bronze Ridge. When we got home, I felt so tired from walking around the mall that I just wanted to lie in bed and put my feet up. Victor received a phone call, so I went ahead and took the elevator to the second floor to get to my bedroom faster. To my dismay, Vivian was there too. She was waiting for the lift while checking her phone. When she saw me, Vivian didn't look too happy but didn't say anything. I wasn't in the mood to talk to her anyway, and if I weren't tired, I would have taken the stairs instead. But I have a few shopping bags in my hands, so it's better if I take the lift. When the elevator doors opened, she went in, and I debated if I should let her have it and wait for the lift to come back, so we wouldn't be in each other's presence. Are you coming or not? Asked Vivian with her furrowed brows. She looked irritated that I was causing her delay. I'm coming, I said to her. Thanks for sharing the lift. I didn't get a reply from her, and we remained quiet the whole time we were in there. When we finally reached the second floor, I let her go out first before me. I took 3 steps towards my bedroom when I heard her speak. I was told Victor invited you to the party at High Crown. You're not coming, are you? Asked Vivian. I shook my head. I'm not going to join him at the party, but I am going to do some sightseeing in Montreal. Why do you ask? She waved her hand. Nothing. I'm glad you're not coming. High Crown is not for the likes of you, or Peck, except for me, may have welcomed you, but that doesn't mean High Crown and the rest of the pack would. At least you know your place. After she said that, Vivian turned her back and headed to her bedroom. Even though it was a casual conversation, I appreciated the fact that Vivian was honest with how she felt about me being here. What is it about me that people seemed not to want me? It's like I am giving them a bad omen, and they want nothing to do with me. Ulrich. The party is 3 days away, and I still haven't found Grace. I even went back to the coffee shop in New York to look for Erica, but she no longer worked there. I went back to Montreal empty-handed. I am not going to lose hope. I still have time. Where the hell could she be? My friend Brett came to meet me in the tavern, and I was on my 2nd bottle of beer. Hey, isn't it too early for a drink? Asked Brett. It's only 5 in the afternoon. You haven't even had dinner. Do I look like I care? I asked him. Brett frowned, and I felt terrible because I was rude. It's not their fault that we can't find Grace. It was all my fault. If any, I should be thanking them for their help. Sorry, I was rude. Brett tapped my shoulder lightly. It's okay, I take no offense, but aside from the strawberry smell, does she have any friends we can talk to? He raised his hand and called the waiter to get the same beer I was drinking. I tried Erica in New York. She no longer works there, and I don't know where she lives. Is she human? She's a witch. I don't think Grace knows that part. Okay, so did you see her tattoo? Brett asked again. Tattoo? He nodded. You said this Erica is a witch. She will have a tattoo on her wrist, and it will tell us which coven she's from. I didn't even think about that. I haven't met a lot of witches. I just know they are one from their smell. I don't bother with them at all. I closed my eyes and thought about the last time I talked to her at the counter. She was wearing long sleeves, but when Erica served coffee to the next customer, she pulled her sleeves, and that's when I saw her black ink. Do you remember it now? Have you seen it? I nodded. Yeah, do you have a pen and paper? Yo, why would I bring one to the tavern? Brett raised his hand and called one of the staff. Can I have a pen and a piece of paper? Thank you. When the staff brought it to our table, I started drawing from memory, and then I pushed the paper to him. This is an NKH and is used by one coven only in Canada. You know this Erica is no ordinary witch, right? I bet you all my money that she's one of the princesses from the Shadow Moon coven. Shadow Moon? You mean Queen Emlyn, the queen of all witches? Brett nodded. Now, why would a princess like Erica work in a fucking coffee shop? Am I missing something here, Ulrich? When I called Tristone Pharmaceuticals this morning and asked for an appointment to meet with Emlyn Strain, the CEO and president, her secretary told me that her schedule was packed, and she wouldn't be seeing anyone for the next 3 months. I don't have 3 months. Hell, I don't even have a week. I was pacing back and forth in my office when my cell phone rang. It was my private investigator, Javian Snyder. He is the beta for Wicked Valley, and this is his primary business. He specializes in tracing people. I met him during one of the parties, and we got along pretty well. We became good friends. Jav, what do you have for me? I have been praying to the moon goddess, but it seems like she's gone deaf and won't hear me out. Is this my punishment for ignoring my human mate? Tell me it's good news. Alpha Ulrich, good morning. It is good news. I traced Erika's number, but it is listed as Erica Digby, not Strain, as you said. However, she used the number at that cafe you mentioned in New York City, so I checked a few things and found that they are the same. I will email you her number. As for Grace Aspen, I still cannot find her. Her last address is still the apartment you told me about. It seemed to me like she fell off the grid on purpose. Off the record, I think someone with enough money was covering her tracks. That's why we can't find her. You think so? It's what I think, but I could be wrong. Can't you track her? You said she smells like strawberries. It's funny that you said that because I have asked my friends for help, and they've been everywhere. There's no strawberry scent. I can't smell her either. I'm beginning to think it was just her perfume. Shit. What if it is just her perfume? She is human. They're not supposed to smell like us. He cleared his throat. Oh, that's tough. Then wait, what if I thought about something? But never mind. Anything that will help me find her is appreciated. I am running out of time, and I need to find her. So if you have something, tell me. Let's pretend she actually smells like strawberries, but don't their scent change when they get pregnant? I don't know. Oh fuck. Jeff has a point. I didn't use protection that night, and what if Grace missed a pill? She may be pregnant with my pup right now. That means she will smell differently. You have a point. Continue looking for Grace while I try my luck with Erica. Copy, Alpha Ulrich. And Jav. I said to him. Yes. Let's keep it between us, okay? You know what I mean. He chortled. My lips are sealed. It's part of the job. Rest assured that I won't be sharing information with anyone but you. Thank you. Erica. Mom, you called me. My mother looked so regal with her white suit, while I looked like I had literally just got out of bed. I am still wearing pajamas. We are here in her private office at home. My secretary got a call from a man named Ulrich Black. He's the new alpha to High Crown. Don't tell me you're dating a wolf, Erica Jordan Strain. I won't have it. You know the rules. The rules are simple in our realm. A witch only marries the same kind. I've heard that over and over as I was growing up. As a result, I dated humans and ignored male witches. I don't feel attracted to them at all. What? No. I'm still sleepy, and at the rate this conversation is going, I need a strong black coffee. Can I have breakfast first? It's too early. Mom's brows furrowed. Early? It's almost 11 in the morning, and you're still wearing pajamas. I'm not a mom. I don't have a job. I gave you a job, and that's to keep Grace company. She is safe. She is pregnant. Mom exclaimed, which made me smirk. I can't control her sex life. She saved herself for someone until the age of 23, and Grace lost it to someone on a one-night stand. I said to her, Mom, I can't be there for her 24 hours a day. I'm not her nanny. Mom massaged her temples and let out a deep sigh. Who is the father of her baby? The man who was trying to get an appointment to see you. Ulrich Black. Asked Mom. Who else? She looked horrified. What? She can't. Mom stopped mid-sentence, and I know there's more to what she's trying to say. Unfortunately, when it comes to secrets, Mom's lips are sealed and will take it to her grave, depending on the severity. What? Grace is an adult. She can have sex whenever she wants, and with a man she's attracted to. Ulrich Black is not ugly. In fact, he's the opposite. No wonder Grace gave in to him so quickly. When I looked at Mom again, she looked defeated, and I don't know why. Is she upset that her dear friend's daughter is no longer a virgin or what? Mom, is there something you're not telling me? Mom closed her eyes, and when she opened it again, I couldn't read her face. It's not fair that I've been looking after Grace all those years, and I don't know the whole story. At first, I thought Mom asked me to keep Grace company because she lost her mother. Now that I think about it, I think my mother is hiding other details from me. I silently laughed. I have to find out what it is, or I won't be able to sleep. Snooping will land me in trouble, though, but what else is new? As soon as Mom leaves for work, I am going to do my search. She can't read my thoughts no matter how hard she tries. It's one of my gifts. I can block anyone, and they won't know my next move. But first, coffee. Have you talked to Grace lately? Asked Mom. I was about to ask her if I could take my leave. Not yet. Why? Message her and ask how she's doing. I need to know she's okay. Report to me before noon.